Okay. So we will be covering some concepts in the introduction, and the rest is for us to read. Uh, okay, you see, what is he saying here? So what the homework is to read setting the scene. This is a story of Mahabharata that we discussed up to the point of introduction, up to the point of this the war, Bhagavad Gita. And okay, and Bhagavad Gita is dedicated to Srila Prabhupada is writing this, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So he is dedicated to Srila Baladev Vidya Bhushan, who presented so nicely the Govinda Bhashya commentary on Vedanta philosophy. So he is one of the spiritual masters in the disciplic succession, Baladev Vidya Bhushana. And he, when the king asked him that what is the basis of the Gaudiya Vaishnava, are you, to accept yourself as a bona fide parampara, it's important that a bhashya be presented. So bhashya means a commentary. So he presented a commentary on Vedanta philosophy, and that was dictated by Govinda Dev Ji himself, the Lord himself. So that's why this commentary is called Govinda Bhashya, and that was accepted by the king. So this Bhagavad Gita is dedicated to this great Acharya. And then also you'll read the preface. So Prabhupada is telling that why he's writing this book. And finally he says, we hope that therefore that people will derive the greatest benefit by studying as Bhagavad Gita as it is, as we have presented it here. And if even one man becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, we shall consider that uh, consider our attempt a success. This was written in 12 May 1971. So we see the purpose is not to make followers, but purpose is to present it as it is. Um, like this. If personally I have any credit in this matter, it's only that I have tried to present Bhagavad Gita as it is without any adulteration. Before my presentation of Bhagavad Gita as it is, almost all the English editions of Bhagavad Gita were introduced to fulfill someone's personal ambition. But our attempt in presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is to present the mission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Our business is to present the will of Krishna, not that of any mundane speculator like the politician, philosopher, or scientist, for they have very little knowledge of Krishna, despite all their knowledge. When Krishna says, what does he mean by as it is? Prabhupada says this. When Krishna says, Manmana bhava madbhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru, etc., we, unlike the so-called scholars, do not say that Krishna and his inner spirit are different. Krishna is absolute. I request everyone to mute. Okay. Krishna is absolute. And therefore, there is no difference between Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes, etc. This absolute position of Krishna is difficult to understand for any person who is not a devotee of Krishna in the system of parampara. So we will read this completely. What is he saying, and what is the preface to this Bhagavad Gita, and we go on to introduction. So we are going to recite these verses, and eventually, these will be the first set of verses that we will all be learning, because in this 18 weeks, my goal is at least uh, 20 weeks. We learn at least 20 shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. So we can try and see that. So these introduction are the shlokas of Mangalacharan. Mangalacharan means when we try to do anything, we understand that we are not the doer. We need the blessings of the Lord, right? So we are requesting the blessings of the Lord and the devotees by reciting this. Eventually, I will send a recording of this. There is one devotee who has already recorded this. So we will send in the group, and you can hear the recording every day and practice this as well. So is there anyone here whom I can unmute and they can repeat after me? Okay, Srivatsa.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah.
What am I repeating?
So you are seeing the screen, the shlokas?
Yep.
Okay. So I can, I'll go line by line and you can
Yep.
repeat.
Yeah.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya
Om Ajnanatimiraandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam Yena
Chakshurunmilitam Yena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Stapitam Yena Bhutale
Shtapitam Yena Bhutale
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam
Dadati Swapadantikam.
Dadati Swapadantikam.
Can you read the translation? These two.
Sure. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within the material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet?
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else would like to read as well, so we can take turns? Megha Mataji. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we can repeat this, the next set. Vandeham Shri Guru.
Vandeham Shri Guru.
Yeah, Kadampriya Mataji, you can wait for the next one.
Okay.
Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam.
Shri Yuta Padkamalam.
Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha.
Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha.
Shri Rupam Sagrajatam.
Shri Rupam Sagrajatam.
Sahagana Raghunathanvitam.
Sahagana Raghunathanvitam.
Tam Sajivam.
Tam Sajivam.
Sadvaitam Savadutam.
Sadvaitam Savadutam.
Parijana Sahitam.
Parijana Sahitam.
Krishna Chaitanya Devam.
Krishna Chaitanya Devam.
Shri Radha Krishna Padan.
Shri Radha Krishna Padan.
Sahagana Lalita.
Sahagana Lalita.
Shri Vishakhanvitamscha.
Shri Vishakhanvitamscha.
Thank you, Mataji. Can you read the translation?
Yeah, Mataji. Sick. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami as well as Raghunatha Dutt Goswami and Raghunatha Bhatt, Gopala Bhatt and Shalajiv Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisance to Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda along with Sri Advaita Acharya Gadadhar Srivasa Ad and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisance to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishakha.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Kadampriya Mataji, would you like to repeat? Okay. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho
हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु
Deenabandho Jagatpate
दीनबन्धो जगत्पते
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
गोपेश गोपिका कान्त
Radha Kanta Namostute.
राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते. Oh
Thank you.
my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next, Mansi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanusute Devi
Vrishabhanu Sute Devi
Pranamami Hari Priye.
Pranamami Hari Priye.
Thank you.
I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, I think you're trying to expand the screen. So just move the cursor where you see two tabs. You see two tabs written?
Yeah.
Just above that, on the left, you see that little square?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. So, yeah, Prabhuji, Srinath Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So we will do Sri Krishna.
Vanchaka.
Vanchakalpa. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha
Pancha kalpa tarubhyascha
kripa sindhubhya eva cha
kripa sindhubhya eva cha
patitanam pavanebhyo
patitanam pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, Ashutosh Prabhu. So would you like to recite the Sri Krishna Chaitanya yourself, I think? Sorry.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisances to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa and all others in the line of devotion. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we will, so with this, if you see, we have offered obeisances to Sri Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and the Goswamis, the great teachers and acharyas in this line. We will read in depth about them as we cover this as in this course or after the 18 weeks. So there are very nice pastimes about each of them. So we are requesting their blessings so that we are starting this journey of reading Bhagavad Gita. They may, without their blessings, it's not possible to do anything of this sort in this material world. Okay. So, what is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita? Okay, I'm going to scroll down and read some of them and also keep sharing some slides that my Prabhu made. So we will alternate between reading and the slides, and we are planning to cover half of the, already it's 8:30, yeah, introduction at least. Okay. So what are we going to cover is that apart from the introduction prayers, this is the prayers of Srila Prabhupada that, of course, he wrote this book, so his prayers are not there. So we will include this also while we are sending the audio, and we will learn this as well. So introduction, Prabhupada is covering the spirit of the Gita, the purpose of the Gita, what is the subject matter, the process of understanding, result of understanding, and how to practically apply this knowledge. So what is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita? Krishna is saying this, if you see in the introduction. Yeah, hopefully you're able to see the screen. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If we want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions on the label or the directions given by a physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is, directed by the speaker himself. So, this is very clear, right? It's a very nice example that if you want to take the medicine, either physician and also whatever the physician has prescribed is written in the label. You take this many dose this time. If it's a over-counter medication, then it is written on the label itself. So we don't take it according to the direction of the friend. So Bhagavad Gita should be taken according to what Krishna asks us of. What is the spirit in which we should take Bhagavad Gita. And first of all, who is Krishna? The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. He's mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. And then he goes on, this is all for our personal read, to say that how there are so many acharyas who have confirmed this fact about Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is he saying? How to read Bhagavad Gita, like how how the doctor or the label says. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita how to read Bhagavad Gita in chapter 4, text 1 to 3. If you all remember, here the Lord informs these three shlokas. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshva kave bravit evam parampara praptam imam raja rishayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa स एवायं मया तेद्य योगप्रोक्तः पुरातनः भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यं ह्येतदुत्तमम्. So there is a Sanskrit pronunciation guide if you have the Bhagavad Gita book. Although this is available on internet, I would recommend everyone to have a copy. So we can make, we can underline, we can make the points, we can take notes, and we can, it's like a manual. So we would like to have a printed copy of it. So, you can get it from nearby your ISKCON center, or if you cannot get it anywhere, if you find it hard, you can write to us. We will see how, whether either you are in Canada or in US or anywhere else also, we will see how we can reach up physical copy. So he's saying here, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, as we know, first spoken to sun god. Sun god explained it to Manu. Manu explained it to the Ikshvaku. And in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But in the course of time, it has become lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He tells Arjuna that he is relating this supreme secret to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. So this is a spirit with which Bhagavad Gita can be accepted. And Prabhupada goes on to say that there are different relationship with the Lord. One can be a devotee in a passive state, one can be a devotee in an active state, one can be a devotee as a friend, one can be a devotee as a parent, one can be a devotee as a conjugal lover. And Arjuna was in a relationship with the Lord as friend. And how about us? So he's saying every one of us, see, but in the present status of our life, not only have we forgotten the Supreme Lord, but we have forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Every living being, out of the many, many billions and trillions of living beings, has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. This is called Swarupa. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarupa, and that stage is called Swarupa Siddhi, perfection of one's constitutional position. So Arjuna was a devotee and he was in touch with the Supreme Lord in friendship. So right now, we are not at a devotee. So we don't need to worry, which relationship we are in. But rest assured, there is no competition. There is no, like this here, struggle, survival of the fittest, or there is only one CEO and everybody has to, crawl up to that. No. Krishna is telling every living being out of the many millions and billions has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. That is our post forever. No one can occupy that, and there is no competition for that. So we only have to fill that up. But right now, we have forgotten. So ultimately, he's Krishna, after Arjuna is listened the Bhagavad Gita, we saw in the 10th chapter how he agreed that Krishna, whatever you are saying to me, now I accept as truth, right? And so what Prabhupada is making a point, a conclusion of this is, what is the spirit in which Bhagavad Gita has to be taken? Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. What does that spirit of devotion mean? One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, nor should he think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a very great personality. Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So, according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, and with that submissive spirit, we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it's a great mystery. So this is the first point. First point is, what is a spirit? Spirit of devotion. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And we try to understand Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit. And what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? This is it. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nescience of material existence. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways. As Arjuna also was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence. Our existence is eternal, but somehow or other we are put into asat. Asat refers to that which does not exist. So the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to take us out of this anxieties of material existence. Like so the spirit of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna as a supreme lord, and Gita is understood by a devotee like Arjuna. And what is the process? The process is devotional service. That's why we chant 2 rounds at least to understand Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, what is the why we should at all be understanding this great mystery and science if we have not done any service, right? So we are giving some like Guru Dakshina, or a token of respect or gratitude to Krishna, in the form of engaging our tongue in chanting his holy names. That's Nam Seva. So we start with that process. So we understand this. And who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan means one who is a possessor of opulence. Bhaga means opulence. Van means one who possesses. So the great personality, okay, we see that how he is a dear friend to Arjuna. When Arjuna is in throughout Mahabharat, actually to understand Mahabharat, one should learn the concept of Bhagavad Gita very clearly. Otherwise, it will be just like any other historical novel. But if we understand Bhagavad Gita and read Mahabharat, then we will see the nuances of what the Lord's position is, what the devotees are, what is their mind, and what is their reciprocation with them. See, he is a supreme Lord, but what he did for his dear friend, he was willing to drive his chariot. I mean, chariot, if I don't want to, but there is one Shalya, he was a king. Okay. For a king to be a chariot driver is a lesser position. He refused to be the chariot driver of Karna, but somehow, finally, like he agreed to be that chariot. So, chariot driver is not a very, prestigious position. Among the Kshatriyas, they're considered to be the servant of the kings. But Krishna was ready to take up that service, that position, only because to please his friend Arjuna. Krishna was ready to take up that position to please his friend Arjuna, and in fact, he only pulled him out of the dilemma that he was in. And we can see through bhakti only, through the process of devotional service only, can we revive our relationship. We saw, right, how when Sudama came to the Lord, Krishna went to invite him, and he personally washed his feet, invited him inside. We can see here. He made him sit on his own bedstead, and Rukmini and everyone is, seeing in awe. And Rukmini is bringing plates of welcome. And Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is washing his devotees' feet with the water, holding the feet with his hand, and not only that, shedding tears of love as well. So this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who melts for his devotees. So then how can we understand if we don't take it up in the spirit of devotion? So all these are great devotees of the Lord. Brahma, Shambhu, Sukadeva Goswami, and Kumaras. They are Brahma Kumaras. They are 12 great devotees of the Lord that Yamaraj is telling. These great devotees of the Lord, their path we have to follow. Kapila Dev, who is none other than the incarnation of the Lord himself also, and Swayambhuva Manu. The first day of Brahma, we will discuss who's this Manu and what are who the whole of half of the Bhagavatam is about Swayambhuva Manu's descendant stories. And Prahalad, we know Prahalad Maharaj, who is a great devotee, son of Hiranyakashipu. His father himself was a demon. And of course, Narada Muni, who can travel all around the world, all around the universes, without need of any spacecraft at all, because he's a transcendental person with a transcendental body himself, spiritual body. And Janaka Maharaj, Bhishma Dev, Bali Maharaj, who is the grandson of Prahalad Maharaj, and for whom Vamana Dev came and asked the charity, and then he took Trivikrama avatar and Yamaraj himself. So these are the 12 great devotees. We can see they have given the path of devotion, and we can follow them. So to appreciate Bhagavad Gita, just like for a person who's not hungry, if you give him a plate of food, will he eat? He's not hungry. How will he eat? So Bhagavad Gita can be appreciated only by hungry people. Of what they have to have some thirst and inquiry. If they have at all thought, why am I suffering? Where did I come from? What is the purpose of my existence? Where do I go after this life? As a human being, can I do something about it? If these queries does not arise in one's mind, or if people find that these queries are boring, then Bhagavad Gita will go above their head. They better see something that satisfies the senses. They're still not ripe enough. So the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is this, that it will relieve us from all anxieties and miseries. Only a human being can ask these questions, so we have to take advantage and ask these questions. So what are the 5 major topics covered in Bhagavad Gita? We saw this also. Ishvara or God, Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, the material nature, Karma, activity, Kala, time. So from the excerpts of Bhagavad Gita is this: the Supreme Godhead or Krishna or Brahman or the Supreme Controller or Paramatma, you may use whatever name you like, is the greatest of all. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation, there is a controller. Nothing could be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller. For instance, a child may think that an automobile is quite wonderful to be able to run without a horse or another animal pulling it. But a sane man knows the nature of the automobile's engineering arrangement. He always knows that behind the machinery there is a man, a driver. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the driver under whose direction everything is working. So there is no, it's just common sense to see this. What is the variety of creation, colors, artistic, ability of the flowers, the different kinds of living entities, and how each one of them is using their different skills. It's a whole study, right? Biology, botany, microbiology, and veterinary science, how they're breathing, how can there be without any organization? So that controller is Ishvara. And then the living entity. So living entity is part and parcel of that Ishvara, and they are considered as like a drop of water. That a drop of ocean water is also salty. A drop of gold is also gold. So we are also minute controllers, right? We have control over something and we have a tendency to control. We have a tendency to control because it is in Krishna. So we are the controllers, but we are not the supreme controller. We may think that we are controlling this world, but every time in every walks of life, there is research papers going on about environment, about animals. When we were learning like A for ant, antelope, maybe now you see there are so many new animals they have found out and they have uh, journaled them also. Different names of four-legged animal looking like fox but not fox. So like this, still in every field of life, we are learning so many things about nature, about animals, about its mystery. So we have not conquered. If we have conquered the ocean, then I mean, few of you you might remember. I think 2013 or 2012, there was an accident. The air crash happened of an aircraft that was going to Malaysia, and no clue about what happened. And then they found something like the pieces of the aircraft somewhere in Indian Ocean near Australia. How did it get there? Who was there? What happened to those people? Absolutely no information. Such a puzzling thing. I mean, we don't know where the ocean is, what is the depth of the ocean. I mean, what we see as a map, we still have so much mysteries in it. So the jivas, we are minute controllers only, but we think we are the supreme controllers. Then we are in Prakriti. So we understand that how Prakriti or material nature is eternally working, but it is manifested sometimes and unmanifested sometimes. When it is created, it is manifested. When the creation is wound up, it is not manifested. So it appears and disappears over certain interval of time. Just like if you see now, there are no grasses in the park. It's cold, it's dry. I mean, all the trees have shed their leaves. But once there is summer, again, there is full of vegetation and we can hear the birds chirping. Now it's like that. It's compared to that. Prakriti is manifested and unmanifested. But the Lord, that's also control because people look at the nature and wonder at the nature and say, wow, nature is great. But Krishna says, this is my Prakriti. It's also working under my nature. Then the fourth one is Kala. We saw this in the 11th chapter, how when Arjuna asked, who are you? Krishna says, I am Kala or time. And Prabhupada gives his body. Like as soon as the child is born and then he grows a youth, does he remain a youth? No. Right? He's running, he's a jogger, he's this, that. But then after some time, when we dwindle the old age, hardly we can even get out of the bed. Even for that, we need help. Yesterday, I was talking to one of my students. So she was telling how her grandmother is 91 years old and she needs help they have a caretaker. She needs help to be taken to the bathroom and come back. And she said that throughout the life, she has seen her grandmother very active, always working or doing something. So now it's a big torture for her to remain situated in one place. Her mind is constantly racing. So this is what this body has to offer us. So it's not in our control. And at the time, Prabhupada is saying the influence of time is taking away our abilities from us. So we cannot escape that influence, and that is time. So we will learn about that also. And karma, our activities. So karma is not eternal. That means if I have sowed some action for enjoyment, And then if you have enjoyed, then that is deleted. Okay. But if I've sowed some activities of pain, then I've suffered that. After the suffering, the karma is deleted. It doesn't no longer exist. So it's not eternal, but it keeps changing depending on our activities. But it comes. Whatever we have sowed, that will surely come to us. Unless and otherwise, we are intelligent enough to take shelter of the Lord, and He can uh, make us, go out of that equation of law. Unless and otherwise, we are transferred to the field of love of Lord, either law or love. We are controlled, one of them. Then Prabhupada is going on to say that how we are the consciousness. So now I think that this dog is riding, and you see, there are so many, especially they stick out they are having seat belt, but they will stick out their face, and then it looks like the dog is thinking, I am the controller, I am the lord of all. But actually what happens is we are not independent, and we are dependent on so many factors. Although we think we are the creator and we are enjoyer, Prabhupada says that we are neither the creator nor enjoyer but cooperator. Just like there are so many machine parts in this, right? But all this is meant to cooperate with the machine. Okay, platform control, robot control, batteries, to cooperate, then the machine works. So again, these are the famous examples that when we eat, it goes to the stomach, and ultimately the whole body is nourished. So similarly, the living entity is meant to give service to the Supreme Lord. Just like we are watering the root of the plant. Root is not visible, but when the root of the plant or the tree is watered, the whole tree is nourished. So that is a position of the living entity. Instead of being controller and enjoyer, creator and enjoyer, we learn to be cooperator. Okay. So let's go to the we can read from okay. So we were trying to read about the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, and the subject of Bhagavad Gita is here. These 5 topics that is covered, and Prabhupada goes further to say how each one is explained. What are the 5 topics? He's explaining Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, what is the interrelation between them. So we saw this. As the soul thus migrates, he suffers the actions and reactions of his past activities. These activities can be changed when the living being is in the mode of goodness, insanity, and understands what sorts of activities he should adopt. If he does so, then all the actions and reactions of his past activities can be changed. Consequently, karma is not eternal. Therefore, we stated that of the 5 items, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, time, and karma, 4 are eternal, whereas karma is not eternal. So then we saw this, how contaminated consciousness, this is called false ego. Yeah, we were trying to see what is this consciousness. Material consciousness has 2 psychic divisions. One is that I am the creator, and the other is that I am the enjoyer. But actually, the Supreme Lord is both creator and the enjoyer, and the living entity, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is neither the creator nor the enjoyer but a cooperator. He says created and enjoyed. And these are the three examples. The part of the machine cooperates with the whole machine. Part of the body cooperates with the whole body. The stomach is the enjoyer, and watering the root of the tree also. So finally, he says the central figure of creation and enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, and the living entities are cooperators. By cooperation, they enjoy. That's the point. Not that we give the Lord enjoyment and we are in suffering. The relation is like that of the master and the servant. If the master is fully satisfied, then the servant is satisfied. Similarly, the Supreme Lord should be satisfied, although the tendency to become the creator and the tendency to enjoy the material world are also there in the living entities, because these tendencies are there in the Supreme Lord who has created the manifested cosmic world. So, so then he's talking about how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are the three process of realizations. We will read about this in detail in the second chapter and in the coming chapters also. But Prabhupada is touching upon this point that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Okay, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this paragraph is very nicely, wonderful paragraph. Is there anyone who can read? You can raise your hands and I can unmute. Yeah, Srinath Prabhu. This paragraph, the complete whole.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The complete whole, the personality of Godhead has immense potencies. Parasya Saktir Vividaiva Shruyate. How Krishna is acting in different potencies is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. This phenomenal world or material world in which we are placed is so also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are completely adjusted to produce complete resources which are necessary for maintenance and subsistence of this universe. There is nothing extraneous, nor is there anything needed. This manifestation has its own time fixed by the energy of the Supreme All, and when its time is complete, these temporary manifestations will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. There is complete facility for the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, and all sorts of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. So Bhagavad Gita contains the complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this is actually the first shloka of Isopanishad. And see very nicely, Om Purna Madha Purna Midam Purnat Purna Mudachyate. This is a translation of that. How the Supreme Lord is complete and perfect. And there is complete facility for the small complete units. The complete facility is what Krishna is giving us. Small complete units is all of us, the living entities, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, who is the Supreme Lord, and all sorts of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. So, and after that, he goes on to say how Vedic knowledge is complete and infallible. Like cow dung is used to is considered as a purifying agent. But the same Vedas say that if one touches a stool of an animal or even a human being, he has to take a bath. But cow dung, which is a stool of the cow, is used as a purification. Even before the yajnas, cow dung is used. How? Because it's beyond doubts and mistakes. And eventually, now they find that cow dung has so much antiseptic property and this and that. But when Vedas say that, since the knowledge is infallible, it's perfect, so we take it as it is. So Vedas are beyond these four mistakes. Like all of us, we have these four. We are sure to commit mistake. We are invariably illusioned. We have the tendency to cheat others, and we are limited by imperfect senses. So these four is not there in the Vedic knowledge, and that is why this has to be accepted as it is. And yeah, and then about Sanatan Dharma. we will stop with this. So we already learned now what is Sanatan Dharma a little bit, but it's a very nice description. Sanatana means which is no beginning and no end, or eternal. So the Lord is also eternal. The living entity is also eternal. So what is the eternal occupation of the living entity? That if we have to find out. So that's what he says here. See, um, therefore, Sanatan Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. It is the eternal function of the eternal living entities in relationship with the eternal Supreme Lord. Sanatan Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the eternal occupation of the living entity. Sripad Ramanujacharya has explained the word Sanatana as that which has neither beginning nor end. So Sanatan Dharma also has no beginning nor end. And Prabhupada says this, the English word religion is a little different from Sanatan Dharma. Religion conveys the idea of faith, and faith may change. One may have faith in a particular process, and he may change this faith and adopt another. But Sanatan Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. So let's see what is that activity that cannot be changed. Okay, so that he covers here. Sanatana Goswami is asking to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sanatana Goswami is one of the disciples, 6 Goswamis, that what is my constitutional position? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that the constitutional position of a living being is rendering of service. Okay, so we are going to analyze the statement. How is it? So, Prabhupada says a living being serves other living beings in various capacities. By doing so, the living entity enjoys life. The lower animals serve human beings as servants serve their master. A serves B master, B serves C master, and C serves D master, and so on. Under these circumstances, we can see that one friend serves another friend, the mother serves the son, the wife serves the husband, and the husband serves the wife, and so on. If we go on searching in this spirit, it will be seen that there is no exception in the society of living beings to the activity of service. Okay, and he's saying about how politician, shopkeeper, everybody says, and so in this way, we can see that no living being is exempt from rendering service to other living beings. Everyone is rendering service to somebody or the other. Therefore, we can safely conclude that service is a constant companion of the living being, and that rendering of service is the eternal religion of the living being. And he says, you see, a man can change their faith. A Hindu can change his faith to become a Muslim, or a Muslim can change his faith to become a Hindu, Christian, so on. But in all circumstances, the change of religious faith does not affect the eternal occupation of rendering service to others. Right? The Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, in all circumstances, is a servant of someone. Therefore, to profess a particular type of faith is not to profess one Sanatan Dharma. The rendering of service is Sanatan Dharma. So that's the definition. I mean, very beautifully, how nicely he has come to this. How can we claim, irrespective of which religious faith we follow, everybody is serving somebody else. And that service is what Sanatan Dharma is. And here, like, we are serving many different people. A serves B, B is not happy. And B serves C, C is not happy. C serves A is not happy. Because we are trying to put our service capacity in a wrong direction and expecting. But actually, we are related to the Supreme Lord in service. Right. For example, I'm serving my family, say husband and children. But in this life, I may be related to them. Right. So I am serving them in that capacity. But in the next life or in the previous life, there may be another set of living entities who are connected to me in that capacity. Then I serve them. So the point is, our service based on our material bodily identification, either to the family, to the country, to the society, to this or that, is only temporary. But if we connect, if we serve the Supreme Lord and use all this family and society and, whatever it is in the service of the Lord, then that becomes complete and perfect. That way, everyone is satisfied. So that's why he's saying factually we are related to the Supreme Lord in service. The Supreme Lord is a supreme enjoyer and we living entities are his servitors. We are created for his enjoyment, and if we participate in that eternal enjoyment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we become happy. We cannot become happy otherwise. It is not possible to be happy independently, just as one part of the body can be happy, no part of the body can be happy without cooperating with the stomach. It's not possible for the living entity to be happy without rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Lord. And family service can be done as a part of the transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord. It's not that we need to be detached, not affectionate, or like a stone, but we learn to do everything as a permanent service. So we will pause here for today. We have this much to read until we come on Thursday, then we can continue the rest of the introduction. Okay, so if any of you would like to volunteer, uh, taking up some services like putting the homework in the group, and also we have a poll. We are going to put a poll to see everybody reads and updates. Like, have you read so and so? So if someone can put a poll, that will be a reminder for others to read as well. So like this, we can have some of us take some services and keep the group active. And if you have any questions, you can ask now. As I told you, I spoke over, I went 10 minutes over. So we'll have 10 minutes of question answers. And beyond that, if you have questions, you are free to ask in the group. You can send a voice recording in the group also. I can repeat in the group as well, or personally to me. And we don't expect to understand everything in the first read. It's not possible. That's why we read again, right? So whether we understand or not, we continue to read and we note down, okay, this is, I don't understand. And then we can discuss it again more, either in the class or if time doesn't permit in the group itself. So now we will pause for some questions for the next 10 minutes. Parshuram.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'm still a little bit confused about the hierarchy of the deities, because the supreme personality of Godhead here. What is the difference between a supreme, if you were to break it down, supreme personality of Godhead and just saying God? What is the difference?
Okay, God is vague. God means, if you Google, can you Google God?
God comes from Greek roots, I think. It's an Abrahamic. Most of their stuff comes from Greek roots.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
But
just
my thing is you know, when Vedic literature is sort of, I don't know, is diluted using all these Western sort of
that's why
fixations.
this uh, Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the English
Translation of Sanskrit in the Bhagavad Gita.
translation of 25 qualities in Sun. It's a
Ah,
huge line that has a 25-word description of the Supreme Lord.
okay.
So see, if I Google God meaning, it says that
Father, God the Father. It has a father implication, at least in
supreme
Christendom.
being or spirit, worshipped as having power over nature, human fortunes, a deity, the supreme or ultimate reality. Okay. Okay, so supreme deity, supreme being.
Yeah,
Even
it's a singular.
with all this, people still think God as a supreme power. Okay. But the power comes from the powerful. The supreme personality means the God is a personality. God is
Yeah,
not power, God is not just light, God is not just impersonal. And there are so many controllers. That's why
yeah,
God head, like a fountain head. If you see a
yeah.
fountainhead, there is one big fountain that's coming in the center, and then there are small fountains that makes it so beautiful, right? Everything has a different range of coming, like fount. So in
Yeah.
the fountainhead, that means there are so many gods who have different areas of control and who are also having hierarchy of controls. There is one supreme being. He's a supreme personality of that group of controllers. And that's why this name Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Because, in a lot of circles, in primarily Hindu circles, you have Shaivite philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy, and this is very sound. But other than the Bhagavad Gita, is there any scriptural backing for Krishna being the supreme personality of Godhead?
Everywhere there is Vedas, Rig Veda says that.
Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna Sachidananda Gana, Krishna Adi Purusha, Krishna Purushottamaha. Exclusively the word Krishna is used in Rig Veda. And Vedanta Sutras there is there. In Upanishads, apart from Isopanishad, in other places, in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are so many places where especially Krishna is referred as a Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And in terms of the hierarchy of scriptures, if you were to give me from low to up in terms of hierarchy, what would you say is the in terms of reference, in terms of power, in terms of revelation and revelationary capacity
Of the scripture.
Vedas? Yes.
So see, we want the essence of Vedas as Gita Upanishad is accepted as the essence of Vedas. Isopanishad tells more about Isha or Ishvara, okay, and Jiva, maybe not much about other things. So similarly, there are so many. Gita Upanishad. There is a reason why Bhagavad Gita is considered at least the holy book of Hindus. Why? Because it has the essence of all the other Vedanta Sutras, Vedas, Upanishads, and Puranas. So that's what we are trying to see. And there are different Puranas also, 18 Puranas. And in that, Srimad Bhagavatam is considered as the Amala Purana. That Purana, there are some Puranas was meant for people in the mode of goodness, people in the mode of passion, people in the mode of ignorance. Right? So for them, there are some deities who are as controllers, who are connected with that mode, is appreciated as a supreme. And so those people who are in those modes, they are encouraged to consider those deity as supreme and worship so that they can go to the next level. So like this way, gradations are given by Vedavyas. See, Vedavyas, we know. He wrote the Vedas, he wrote the Puranas. And he himself is after writing all the Vedas and Puranas also, he was not satisfied because he said many, many different things in them. Then when he is little despondent, then Narada Muni comes and says, okay, you tell the ultimate thing when it is done, that which the purpose of life is born. Everybody is born for. Glorify who is the supreme. Everything else is included in that. If you point out that specifically, then that's what you're missing in all these Puran. That's the starting of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Because Mataji, like through upbringing, we all, I feel, at least before the information age kicked in, it was kind of innate in us, a natural leaning towards a higher power, towards God, if you would. And then, but it's almost internally built within you, and then you gravitate towards it, you're magnetized, and then as you go higher and higher, this is a question. If the external information coming in, how do you differ from dogma? Because if it aligns with that ascension, then it is the truth. But at the same time, sometimes I have a misconception. It's like, is this just dogma? Is this just dogma? Is it right to see scripture as dogma, as laws, as regulations, or how to deal with this
See,
confusion?
yeah, that's a very good question. So we all have grown up. Unfortunately, we only learned ABCD. We've only learned about, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. We only learned about Snow White and what is that? The famous princess story is one
Cinderella.
Cinderella, one shoe is lost, one chapel is lost. This is what our learning is. So, and then we grabbed whatever TV gave, whatever our, generations gave in the house, and then we formed an opinion. But if we were to study the scriptures without any bias from the very beginning of our life, we will not have this confusion at all. But better
Mm,
late than never, because sometimes what we have accumulated based on our family tradition and our geographical setting, and our exposure to what the truth is, what the untruth is all
mm,
hodgepodge.
yeah.
But may not be perfect. Yours may be entirely different from me. But if I want to believe what I'm exposed to, what I thought is right is only the right, then it's also a choice. You can do that. Some people do that. But really, if we want to know, then we open and see, uh, open to the ideas and open to
Mm,
what the Shastras say.
mm. I'm getting the gist of what you said. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. You can have a book in Bhagavad Gita as it is in Telugu or in Tamil or Hindi, Marathi, any language you can read. Okay, whatever you're comfortable with. So we can read, and then if you have any questions, we can discuss. So today's that's what I want, someone who can be a homework coordinator. So you can put up the homework every time. So we'll be reading this book from the beginning, from the page of dedication to what are the different chapters, setting the scene, preface, and introduction up to this point. What we have done here up to the point of Sanatan Dharma explanation. Maybe the page numbers may be different. You can read from Veda base or your thing. And then the next few concepts we will cover in the next class on Thursday, and maybe try to cover some shlokas also. So I think we will pause here. We will try to keep it short. And so, this is not just 18 days, so it's 18 weeks, and we all need stamina to come. But rest assured, it will be an interactive session also. As we get together, there'll be more interaction, more, all of you talking. We will divide into breakout rooms, and we will have discussions and to present things. So we will try to incorporate like all possible practical activities. So it will not be a one-way monologue. So there will be ample opportunities for you to ask questions and learn together. Okay, devotees. So we will pause here. Thank you all very much for your wonderful participation. See you again on Thursday. Before that, please complete the homework. Um, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.